Hi, welcome to the Hibernate class. Today we are going to see how to install Hibernate and set it up along with Eclipse. So first off, I would like to say if you don't have JDK, I would recommend that you download the Sun JDK or Oracle JDK and install it. And after installing the JDK, I would suggest you install Eclipse because I'm going to use Eclipse for this class. You can find Eclipse at eclipse.org and you just download the zip file and you have to unzip it. So you will find something like this in eclipse.org, and then you can go to the downloads, and after clicking downloads you can click on this Eclipse IDE for Java EE and then download it and unzip the folder. Next off, for the database, we are going to use the DB database from Apache. You can just go and do a Google search and you can download from this website. Like dbapache.org. You can just do a Google search for db and then go to this website and do the download. You can get the latest download, whatever it is, and it is a zip file, and you will have to do the unzipping to some folder in your C drive. And after that, go to Hibernate.org and you may have to do a search over there wherever the downloads are. Basically this is the website and where you can download Hibernate, and in Hibernate.org you need to download two zip files, that is Hibernate distributions and Hibernate annotations. The site would look like this. It is in sourceforge.net, and even though they have released 3.5, I'm going to use 3.3.2. and you'll have to go here and download this Hibernate distribution .zip file, and after which you can download the Hibernate annotations 3.4.0 GA.zip file. And once you have downloaded all those zip files, I would suggest put them in a particular folder. For this lesson, I have created a folder in the C drive called Hibernate Lessons, and under Hibernate Lessons I have two folders. One is code, it's empty. This is going to be my workspace where I'm going to do all my Hibernate programming, and in the downloads I have downloaded all the zip files and stuff like that. This is the JDK which I installed in my mission, and this is the Eclipse. I'm using the latest version Galileo, and the db zip file, and annotations and distribution zip files. Once you have downloaded all these zip files, unzip them to the same folder if you want, and once you have unzipped them, you don't have to do anything else other than unzipping them, and you can go and start Eclipse. To go start Eclipse, go to this Eclipse folder, and once you're in this Eclipse folder, you can double click on this eclipse.exe to start Eclipse. So now let us open the workspace. I'm going to open the workspace. It's in my C drive. And I have it in my Hibernate Lessons. And in that I will select code. This is going to be my workspace in Eclipse. We have opened Eclipse. Let's close the screen, and we are in Eclipse. Now let us create a project. You can create a project by clicking on File, New, and then you can say Other, and then here you can select a Java project. Click Next. And then you can give some project name, say Hibernate example, and click Finish. After creating this Hibernate example project, let's see what is our next step. Now we have downloaded and installed Eclipse and we have created a project. The next step is, let us install the database. So let's go back to our downloads folder, and in that we had unzipped this db-derby. So that means we have installed the database. To start the database, go to the bin folder in db-derby, and inside the bin folder double click on the start network server.bat. It should say started and ready to accept connections on port 1527. That means the database is up and running. Good. Now the next step is, we now need to make a connection between Eclipse and the database. We need to make a connection between Eclipse and database. So how to do the configuration? Go back to Java EE Eclipse, and over here click on Windows and click on Open Perspective and click on Other, and in this select Database Development and click OK. Now once you click on OK, you will get a screen like this, and over here in database connection, right click on the database connection, click New, and select the database that we are going to use. Since we are using Derby, we will select Derby. If you are using HSQL or MySQL or Oracle, you need to select that particular database. But for our example, since we are using Derby, let us select Derby, and here we can give a name like, say, Hibernate connection. Hibernate connection. Now click Next, and over here you will see the screen. You need to specify the driver details. To specify the driver details, you have something called as a new driver definition right here at this corner. Click that button, and in this let us select a Derby client JDBC driver. This is the driver details for this particular database. Now let us go to the jar list tab. You will see some error saying unable to locate jar zip file. Like basically it's not able to see where this Derby client.jar file is. So what we will do is, let us go and add that particular jar. Click on add jar zip, and let us go and search of that particular jar file. To go and search of the jar file, let us go back to our downloads folder, that is Hibernate Lessons, downloads, db-derby, and over here go to this lib directory, and you will see that derby client.jar. So select that and click open. Now since we have added the derby client.jar from the downloads db-derby, we no longer need this one, so just click this derby client.jar here and remove it. Now after doing that, go to the properties tab, and in the properties tab let us copy these connection URL and driver class name. So just select them, Ctrl C, open a notepad, and this is our connection URL. Let's copy that, and our driver class, let us copy this. We will be using this later in a configuration file, and this is our driver class name. So let us copy it and then minimize that particular notepad. Now click OK, and over here let us give a name for the database, like say Hibernate.DB. Hibernate.DB, and let the username be user and port number is 1527, and the password, let us give a password like say password. Password is password. Now you can say save password if you want to, and click on test connection to see if everything is working. When you click on test connection, it should say ping succeeded. Make sure if this does not work that your database is up and running properly. that is, it should say like connection on port 1527, and make sure it is minimized, not closed. Click OK. Now that we change the name of the database, you can see that the connection URL, the sample has been changed to Hibernate.DB. So let us copy the new connection URL and let us paste our connection URL, new connection URL, and minimize it. Now click finish. So that's it. We have now created the configuration. We have now like configured Eclipse with the database, and we have a database tool called Hibernate.DB. So this Hibernate.DB will have like some default schemas and stuff like that. We need not worry about that. Okay.